Many legends regarding the rumored loot of the Knights Templars, a late medieval order of military monks, have surfaced in the contemporary day. The stories about the Templars are numerous and varied, but the two most imaginative ones give a decent glimpse of their overall tone. It is believed that the members of the order secreted enormous sums of money and rare items during the downfall of the organization by the French royal in 1307. Since then, these valuables have been buried or kept under covert command. Even after its demise, theories about the Knights Templars' existence as a secret organization persisted. Numerous hypotheses have been put out regarding their riches, religious practices, and even whereabouts. What then is the truth? By thoroughly examining some of these notions, we will be able to shed more light on them. So before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel right away. One of the two most well-known traditions holds that this treasure held the Holy Grail, the cup or container that Jesus drank from during the Last Supper, within it. Another well-known legend is that the treasure included the Ark of the Covenant, the chest that housed the stone tablets that Moses received the 10 Commandments on in the book of Exodus, as well as other priceless artifacts related to the Israelites of the Old Testament. Since then, it is stated that secret societies have passed down these artifacts from one generation to the next. It is frequently believed that organizations like the Freemasons have connections to the Templars and their treasure. Here, we investigate the precise background of the Knights Templars, the origins of the treasure legends, and the likelihood that these legends are true. The Grand Master of the Knights Templar organization, established in 1118 by Hugues de Payns, held a position that was permanent. King Philip IV gave his officers the command to detain hundreds of Knights Templar on October 13, 1307. King Philip considered the Templars as a threat because he thought they had grown too wealthy and powerful. One of the most terrible crimes ever committed was the burning at the stake of a religious community. After Friday the 13th, numerous more Templar Knights were found and put to death. The Catholic Church forced the Templars into hiding, and as a result, the group became underground on Oak Island Money Pit. Over time, the whispers about Oak Island have intensified. The Oak Island angle has proven to be very alluring to treasure hunters. The remaining Templars were scattered around Europe for more than 90 years, and in Scotland, numerous noble families shared the duty of protecting the Templars' secrecy in the historic Templar citadel. Under Scotland's castles, there have recently been found tunnels and Templar symbols. They were castles, and the Scottish families who lived there would help the Templars reorganize and grow stronger, according to certain historians and scholars. The Poor Knights of Christ and the Temple of Solomon were religious organizations that the Knights Templar belonged to. Following the First Crusade's victory, which between 1095 and 1099 led to the conquest of the Holy Land for Christendom, these were a holy military order of knights. Initially, the Templars were established to defend Christian pilgrims traveling to the Holy Land from Muslim assaults. 8 or 9 French knights under the leadership of Hugues de Payns served as the organization's original founders, and during the winter of 1119-1120 they made a commitment to guard all Christians who want to travel to the holy places linked with Jesus. King Baldwin II of Jerusalem granted them some land and a base of operations in Jerusalem, right next to the old Temple of Solomon, as payment for their oath. This is where the order's name came from. The order's position and responsibilities eventually grew as they gained power throughout Europe. There were rumors that the Knights Templar were on the Temple Mount in order to find the stolen valuables. After arriving in Jerusalem for the first time, the Knights Templar practically disappeared from view for a period of time. The group took an oath of chastity and poverty, modeling their organization after that of Benedictine monks. In contrast to their monastic brethren who led a cloistered life, the Templars were quite active in the world because their main responsibility was to battle for Christians and Christendom. They were forbidden from gambling, swearing, or becoming drunk, and they lived in communal settings. As a result, they remained active in the Holy Land during the Crusades, up until the 1291 conquest of the final Crusader state. The Templars were led by a Grand Master who was chosen for life and based in Jerusalem. Those in countries like France were overseen by provincial commanders or preceptors who were responsible for each region's particular Templar houses. Knights and sergeants made up the two classes of Templars. The aristocratic knights were dressed in the Templars' distinctive white surcoat with a scarlet cross on it. The sergeants were of lesser social standing and wore all black garb. When the Templars were first founded in the early 12th century, It was impossible to foretell how wealthy and powerful they would eventually become. As the years went by, the papacy and the monarchs of nations like England, Spain, France, and the other kingdoms that were then part of Germany and Eastern Europe granted the Order of the Knights Templar a number of particular rights. By the 13th century, the Templars had amassed a sizable property portfolio throughout Europe, along with enormous wealth. These included estates and castles. The order also started acting as a bank, essentially lending money to numerous European kings as well as the Crusader nations in the Holy Land. Additionally, he seized all of the order's assets and gave them to the royal family, accusing them of being idolaters, heretics, and other offenses. He made that choice for a number of different reasons. The most likely explanation for Philip's apprehension was that he had real concerns about the Grand Master, Jacques de Molay. He also lusted after the riches and territories they possessed. Whatever his intentions, his actions appear to have been hasty and violent. Templars were pursued and subjected to torture. The papacy was used to spread the suppression of the order throughout Europe. And finally, in 1312, Pope Clement V forbade the order from existing in all of Christendom. In front of Paris's Cathedral of Notre Dame, de Molay, the final Grand Master, was executed by being burned at the stake in March 1314. The Knights Templar can be said to have officially ended with this occasion. So the order was dispersed in this manner. However, what about the rumored treasure? As we've seen, the Holy Grail and the Ark of the Covenant are the two items that are most frequently mentioned in stories regarding Templar wealth. It is generally accepted that Templars were given the duty of guarding the Holy Grail while residing on the Temple Mount. There are other aspects to it, though, and the variety of the rumored treasure is vast. This is largely because of a claim that Gerard de Villiers, the French Templars preceptor or regional commander, oversaw the transportation of 50 horses carrying cargo out of Paris during the suppression in 1307. The so-called Turin Shroud, a sizable piece of cloth that is purported to bear the image of a man's face and is typically assumed to have been the material in which Jesus' body was wrapped before being laid to rest in the tomb following his crucifixion, is another theory about what this treasure may have contained. There is a tenable explanation explaining how the Templars got into possession of all these biblical items, regardless of the particular details of the treasure hoard. We have seen that the Templars were given a location in the heart of Jerusalem, close to the site of the Temple of Solomon, to serve as their headquarters when they were first established, and it is generally accepted that they would have obtained these artifacts at that time. Their collection of biblical relics is so significant that some academics have theorized that their demise was related to this treasure. Share your thoughts on Templars treasure with us in the comments and subscribe us before leaving. See you in the next video.